The first thing she felt was the cold bite of metal cuffs around her wrists. The second was the empty air swallowing her whole. Hey everyone, if you're new here and your heart's already pounding, consider subscribing. The stories we tell here are about the moments that define us, and this one will redefine what you think you know about strength. Her name was Maya. At 19, she was a paradox in the hallways of Northwood Academy, a place filled with glass, ambition, and quiet cruelty. She was older than most seniors, having lost a year to her mother's illness at long, quiet battle fought behind closed doors. That year changed her. It stripped away her innocence and left her with a quiet, watchful strength. Maya never sought attention, but that very calm made her a target. The bullies Liam and Jax ruled the school like spoiled princes. They wore varsity jackets like crowns and hid their insecurity behind cruel laughter. Their power wasn't in their fists but in their ability to humiliate others for sport. And Maya, with her thrift store sweaters and her books about astrophysics, represented everything they couldn't control. It started with whispers. It ended on the rooftop. After school one day, they cornered her over a scholarship project. Maya had poured her heart into it. Liam had copied someone else's work and failed. He wanted revenge. You think you're smarter than us? Jax sneered. Liam, cold and deliberate, just smiled and pulled out a pair of shiny handcuffs. A prop, he said. They forced her upstairs. The metal door creaked open to the roof. The sky was painted orange and purple by the setting sun. A beautiful, cruel, and silent. See that? Liam gestured to the horizon. That's the real world. People like you don't win there. Her back hit the low wall. The wind howled around her. Her mind raced in her mother's smile, the equations she loved, and the certainty that these boys would go too far. Please, she whispered, take them off. You can have the project. I'll withdraw. But they didn't want an apology. They wanted submission. And then, with a sudden movement, they lifted her and threw her off the roof. Her scream shattered into the wind. Glass exploded around her as her body struck the building's decorative panel. Sunlight caught the shards, turning the horror into a moment of frozen beauty like a storm of diamonds. But Maya didn't die. In that instant, something deep inside her woke up. The air around her thickened, shimmered and caught her. She wasn't falling anymore. She was floating, surrounded by a cocoon of invisible force. The cuffs on her wrists glowed white-hot, melted, and crumbled to dust. When she landed softly in a hidden courtyard below, her heart was racing, not with fear, but disbelief. Her wrists burned with strange glowing runes. Her father's name, long forgotten, came to her mother's whispered words. He was something else, Maya, something they don't have a name for. Days later, she found his journal hidden in an old footlocker. It wasn't a diary. It was a record of experiments, enhancements, and a secret military project. Her father had escaped when he learned his child could inherit his powers. His last words in the journal, if she ever shows the signs, they will come for her. Weeks passed. Maya trained in secret. She learned to bend gravity, to control energy, to leap without fear. And when Liam and Jax picked another victim, a quiet freshman named Leo, she found them. They tried their old tricks, but she was no longer their victim. You don't get to do this anymore, she said quietly. They laughed until she raised her hand. The air itself exploded outward. The two bullies slammed into the wall, pinned by invisible force, their laughter gone. You wanted to see me fall, she whispered, stepping closer. Now you'll live knowing your cruelty created me. Before they could respond, black SUVs screeched outside. Agents in dark gear poured out. The government had the they from her father's journal. They had found her. They attacked, but Maya fought back with everything she had. Darts stopped midair. Energy nets dissolved before touching her. She moved like a storm, graceful, unstoppable. As she prepared to strike the lead agent, Jax, trembling and broken, did something unexpected. He pulled the pin on a fire extinguisher, filling the air with white foam. It blinded the agents long enough for Maya to escape. She rose into the twilight sky, vanishing into the clouds. Weeks turned into months. Rumors spread of a girl who could stop buses from falling off bridges, who could lift people from burning buildings. Maya had become a myth. Her mother received anonymous envelopes of cash. She lived comfortably now, but she never stopped looking to the night sky. And then, one evening, a man appeared on that same rooftop. Her father, Elias. He had been searching for years. When Maya descended from the stars, they didn't speak at first. They didn't need to. He said her name softly, and she saw the truth in his eyes, a regret, love, pride. They stood together above the city lights, not as weapons or fugitives, but as family. From that day on, they worked as one, stopping disasters, saving lives, becoming legends whispered about in the dark. The bullies who once tried to destroy her could only watch their world change from afar. They had tried to erase one girl, but instead, they had created a force that would protect millions. Her story began with a fall, but it was always about the rise. Maya had vanished from the city's streets, or so everyone thought. In reality, she and her father, Elias, had built a quiet life far from the noise and danger of the world. They lived in a small coastal town where fog rolled in every morning, soft and silver, like a veil hiding their past. But the peace was temporary. Elias knew it. So did she. Her powers had grown. She could now bend gravity like silk between her fingers, lift cars effortlessly, stop bullets mid-air. But the more she used her abilities, the more the world seemed to notice. Strange patterns in magnetic fields, unexplained energy bursts. They were being tracked. One night, as the wind howled off the cliffs, Elias handed her a small metallic disc. "If something happens to me," he said, "you run. Don't look back." She frowned. "You think they've found us?" He nodded grimly. They never stopped looking. The next morning, everything went wrong. A convoy of black drones appeared over the sea, silent and gleaming. Moments later, soldiers in exosuits descended on cables, their armor humming with energy. The house trembled. Elias grabbed her wrist. "Go." But Maya refused to run this time. She raised her hand, and the air around her shimmered. The soldiers' weapons bent and twisted like soft clay. Their bullets hung frozen in the air. Then a voice came through the static of a loudspeaker, a cold, calm, female. "Maya, you don't understand what you are. Come with us peacefully. We can help you." Her eyes narrowed. "You mean control me?" The woman stepped out of the shadows. It was the same agent from the school, older, but just as sharp, her eyes like ice. Elias took a step forward. "You can't have her." The agent smiled sadly. "She was never yours to protect." The fight was chaos, light, sound, and raw power. Elias fought with the precision of a soldier, disabling drones and agents with brutal efficiency. Maya, meanwhile, moved like a force of nature. The ground itself rippled beneath her feet. She hurled waves of kinetic energy that sent armored men flying into the sea. But there were too many. Elias was hit by a tranquilizer dart meant for her. He staggered, falling to his knees. "Maya, broken bar, remember broken bar who you are." Her scream split the air. The world seemed to buckle under her grief. The clouds darkened, thunder rolled, and the very earth began to lift around her. The agents fell back, terrified. When the storm cleared, she was gone, and so was her father's body. For weeks, the world searched. The agency claimed she'd perished in the explosion, but in truth, Maya had gone underground. She had become something else, a ghost in the digital age. Whispers spread through hacker forums and encrypted channels, sightings of a hooded figure saving villages from floods, derailing convoys of illegal weapons, and erasing entire government databases. She was a myth reborn, a symbol of rebellion. And then one night, a message appeared on her encrypted screen. 4 words only: "He's still alive." Coordinates attached. Maya's breath caught. She stared at the glowing numbers, heart pounding. Her father alive? She closed her eyes, and the world around her began to shift. The metal objects in the room lifted slightly off the ground as her power surged. This time, she wasn't running. This time, she was going to find him.